Okay. Welcome. Okay.
Oops.
Welcome. There. I had Twitch open so I can see the chat and the audio was on. Yeah, as I said, welcome. It's been a while since we've done NIM streaming. It's been a while since I've done any kind of streaming. As you can probably tell from my voice, I'm a bit sick at the moment. Don't think it's COVID. Just the normal flu or common cold or something. So yeah, what are we doing today? If you've read the title, you've probably guessed it. We're doing AoC, Advent of Code. Same procedure as last year. I'm not sure if I'll be able to do all of them this year. As you can see, I've sort of moved stuff around. It's because there's two living here now, and not just me. So I'm not sure how many days I will be able to stream because I'm in the living room. But hopefully we can do a little bit. I also want to say quickly that we have got an accepted dev room for FOSDEM this year. The call for papers or call for participation is not officially out yet, but keep an eye on that if you want to talk about something NIM related during FOSDEM 2022. It's a big conference. Everything is going to be live. Everything is going to be online this year. So it's like you don't have to be able to travel to Brussels in order to do it. Yeah, hi Recruit main. How do you want people to say your name? Recruit main 707. It's a bit of a mouthful. But yeah, anyways, same procedure as last year. For those of you who don't know, these are sort of daily challenges in sort of an advent calendar format. They get progressively harder each day. You simply get given an input and you're supposed to generate some output. So you can do it in pretty much any language that can do input and output. I'm going to be using NIM for these. Same again as last year. I haven't looked at this. I've just created some directories here for us, but I haven't looked at any of the stuff yet. So I'm going in blind. If you haven't solved Advent of Code and want to do it yourself, you probably shouldn't be watching this stream because I will give away my solution. But I'm doing this pretty late this time, so maybe you've already done it. Anyways, day 1, sonar sweep. You're minding your own business on a ship at sea when the overboard alarm goes off. Overboard alarm, yeah, so someone has gone overboard. Why are we out at sea? Anyways, you rush to see if you can help. Apparently one of the elves tripped and accidentally sent the sleigh keys flying into the ocean. Oh no! Before you know it, you're inside a submarine. Before you know it, you're inside a submarine. The elves keep ready for situations like this. That's handy. It's covered in Christmas lights, because of course it is. And it even has an experimental antenna that should be able to track the keys if you can boost its signal strength high enough. There's a little meter that indicates the antenna's signal strength by displaying 0 to 50 stars. Okay. Your instincts tell you that in order to save Christmas, you'll need to get all 50 stars by December 25th. So yeah, you get stars for your solution. 1 star for doing part 1, and then when we submit our answer here, we'll unlock a part 2. and then you get another star for doing part 2. So apparently we need all 50 stars by December 25th in order to save Christmas. Oh yeah, collect stars for solving puzzles. 2 puzzles will be made available each day in the advent calendar. Yeah, pretty much just what I said. As the submarine drops below the surface of the ocean, it automatically performs a sonar sweep of the nearby seafloor. On a small screen, the sonar sweep report, my puzzle input, and we will see more about this later, appears. Each line is a measurement of the seafloor depth as the sweep looks further and further away from the submarine. Right? For example, suppose you had the following report: 199, 200, 208, 210, 200, 207, blah, blah. These reports indicate that, scanning outward from the submarine, the sonar sweep found depths of 199, 200, 208, 210, and so on. The first order of business is to figure out how quickly the depth increases, just to know what you're dealing with. You never know if the keys will get carried into deeper water by an ocean current or a fish or something. To do this, count the number of times a depth measurement increases from the previous measurement. There's no measurement before the first measurement. Yeah, so this one does not count as 1. In the example above, the changes are as follows: increased, 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 decreased, increased, 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 decreased, increased. So in this example, there are 7 measurements that are larger than the previous measurement. How many measurements are larger than the previous measurement? So to begin, we can get our puzzle input, which is basically just a way larger version of the sample. It apparently remembers the site and remember sort of where I want to store these. So input.text, right. So now we have our input file here. We can create a part1.nym. So I think we're gonna use some stuff from stirutils, maybe some stuff from maybe not from secutils actually. So you know what, I don't think we even need this one. So let's create this. So that is our increased variable. And then let's say that, so we know that our first, this one should not count as an increase, right? So if we set the last one to be the highest number an integer can be, and then we can do for line and input.text. This is actually wait, dot lines, is it like that? I think so. This should now echo out all our lines. Yes, good. So these are just the same lines as in our file. The lines iterator is an iterator that takes a file name and just iterates over all the lines in the file. Alright, we do actually need stirutils because we want to parse these as integers. So this should give me the same thing. So they're parsed into an integer, and then they're automatically converted back to a string for the echo call. So let's say depth, and then we can do if last is larger then if depth is larger than the last one, then increase the increased counter and set last equals to depth at the end of this. We can then just echo out increased at the end of our program. And this should be our solution. So, oh yeah, one thing I forgot to mention, every person who does this gets a different input file. These are just sort of randomly generated. So if you sign up, you have to download your own input.txt file. I'm gonna be putting these on GitHub. So if you clone the repository, you have to use your own input.txt file if you want to get the right results. But I mean, don't just run my code off of GitHub. Where's the fun in that? So yeah, increased count. The last one, we just set it to the highest possible number so that it can't be, so that the first one can't count as a depth, and then just loop through. If it increases, increase this increase counter, set the last one to depth, and echo out the number. I did the same way as you did, Yardanico. I mean, this is sort of the, I guess, the most obvious way to do it in them. Oh yeah, if you steal others' Advent of Code solutions, you're gonna get coal in your stocking. Is it in the stocking? Or are all your gifts just gonna be coal? Almost, but you checked if the value was 0 instead of setting it to a big value initially. Oh, so you left last at 0, and then you said something like something like that. Yeah, that's another way of doing it. But yeah, yay, that's right. You got you are 1 gold star closer to finding the sleigh keys. Oh, so the entire Advent of Code this year is going to be underwater. That's interesting. Typically, the previous is not equal 0, and yeah. So typically, you sort of travel the globe, at least the ones I've done. Part 2. Right. Consider every single measurement isn't as useful as you expected. There's just too much noise in the data. Instead, consider sums of a 3-measurement sliding window. Again, considering the above example, 199, 200, 208, so A, B, C, A, B, C, B, C, D, C, D, E. All right, you just wrapped them, right? Start by comparing the first and second 3-measurement windows. The measurements in the first window are marked A. Oh, right, yeah. So this is a window, this is a window, this is a window, this is a window. Right. So A, their sum is 608, this is 607. The second window is marked B, 200, 208, 210. Its sum is 618. The sum of measurements in the second window is larger than the sum of the first, so this first comparison increased. Your goal is to count the number of times the sum of measurements in the sliding window increases from the previous sum. So compare A with B, then compare B with C, then C with D, and so on. Stop when there aren't enough measurements left to create a new 3-measurement sum. In the above example, the sum of each 3-measurement windows is as follows. Yeah, so these are... oh yeah, sure. In this last example, there are 5 sums, blah, blah, blah. Consider sums of a 3 measurement window sliding window. How many sums are larger than the previous sum? Right. So, typical sliding window. This is a, I think it's called this. Change point detection, yeah. So change point detection, you want to know when a series of noisy data changes. So for example, here, it's very obvious to us that this is a change. It might not be obvious to a computer, especially if the noise here reaches this level. Like you can easily create like an error bars thing here and say that, yeah, well, this is outside of the error bar. But if the error bar is up to here and down to here, this is maybe not as obvious. But as you can see with a window like this, so that is the last 3 and the next 3, not quite the same as we're doing here, but similar concept. Then you get something like this, and then you can just say, well, anything above this line is a change. So if that's pretty cool. And that's basically what we're doing here. So yeah, although it hasn't changed, you can still get your puzzle input. The puzzle input is typically always the same. Typically always the same as the first one. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's surprising how many places you still find Nimrod. Like the emotes on Twitch are one place. I think also the official code for Nim in Pigments might still be Nimrod. There are some like few places here and there. I started using Nim sort of right after the name change. And that is now what, 6-7 years ago? Yeah. Oh no. Yeah, 5-6 years. I had to calculate that for the NIM community survey, which you should take. Right, it has both. Yeah. So yeah, sliding window. Sliding window. Oop, there we go. Oh yeah, let's just open the one I already had here. There, right there. So we can do, I mean, it's a lot of the same. Like we can keep all of this stuff. Just force it to open this again so that it gets syntax highlighting and stuff. But now we need to keep 2 windows or a series of windows. How do we want to do this? So I mean, there's a couple of ways we can do this. We can build this sum, so we can loop until we have 3 numbers, create this sum, but keep the numbers, and then on the next one we subtract this and add this and check if the result is higher or lower. That'll work. So basically we just need to keep the last 3 values to be able to delete them as we go along. We could also like read in the whole thing and map it over, like map it down to a shorter, shorter window. So how do we want to do this? We also, of course, need to keep this data in some kind of structure. The easiest would just be to read in all the lines into a big sequence, because then we could do like indexing super easy. But sort of a more realistic scenario for something like this, window-based change point detection is used a lot when you do fast signal segmentation. It's sort of, you typically use it as an online thing. So you don't have a lot of data and you want to find where it changed. You're getting data streamed in and you're trying to figure out if it changes or not. So I feel like putting everything into a sequence is kind of, it's kind of disingenuous to the problem in a way. So let's do something like this maybe. Sequence is a bit of a weird thing to put them in. I guess we can put them in an array or a linked list. Let's just go for an array, or array as you would typically say. And then we do I and line. So wait, does that actually have a pairs one? It doesn't. Does it have? So now I'm explicitly calling the lines iterator. Is there a pairs iterator for? That would just be for string, right? I don't think there is one. So we need to keep our index. Just increase our index there. And then we want our sum to be 0. This is our current depth. So sum subtract scene values, and then we want the one 3 steps up, or like 3 steps back. So we want to take, I guess, I minus 3 modulo modulo 3, I guess. And I think this has to be in like that. This can obviously go negative. I don't think mod in nim deals with negative numbers. Let's try that out real quick. Hello? Oh, okay. Let's see. So 10 mod 3 is 1. 9 mod 3 should be 0. Minus 1 or minus 3 mod 3. Oh, it would actually be 0. Minus 2 mod 3 is minus 2. Right. Whoops. That should be quits. I guess we could do absolute value of that. It doesn't really. So as long as we're subtracting zeros, it doesn't really matter, but let's instead do if I is bigger than 2. We want to do this. So if you go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So here, the sum won't do anything. So the index here is 0. Index here is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And let's just give these a bit more flavor by adding random. Wow, that was a bad random function. There we go. So for the first one, sum is obviously gonna add the parsed depth. And then we want to check sum is greater than last, and then last is equal to sum. Delete that. So for this, our sum would be 12. We subtract nothing. We add the depth. For this, we still don't do anything because I is not greater than 2. So this should now be 35. 2 is still not bigger than 3. So this should be 66. And now it's 3. So this is our sliding window. Yeah, so at this point, the sum is stored as last. It's 66. Actually, all of this should also be guarded by this. Doesn't matter if you do plus or minus first for the sum. So yeah, sum 12. We don't do any of this stuff, so that's fine. That, and we do that, and damn it, because this will, let's just put that there. Yeah, so 66 is the last sum. We get down to here, we add 41. So now our sum is 107. And then now, since I is larger than 2, I is larger than 2 because it's 3, then we subtract the number that is 3 further down, which is 3 minus 3 is 0. So we subtract this index. So the new sum is 107 minus 12. Ugh, I'm sick. I can't do math right now. 765, so 95, I guess. And so on and so forth. So one thing we haven't done, is store. God damn it. There. Scene values I mod 3 is equal to the depth. So store that number. Oops, and these aren't. So yeah, store this essentially just stores them and keeps overwriting them. This looks 3 values back, which should be safe. Because we haven't written there yet. So this should actually be fine. And I just realized that I have done all this in the part 1 file. Yeah. Yeah, nim secret. That's is it still secret? I mean, it's not exactly I'm not sure if it is in the menus or anything. Like if you go full help. I tend to use it a bit from time to time. There we go. So now part 2 is the solution that we've just been doing. Run part 2, 1491, quite a similar result. The only thing, yeah, we should stop at the right point. Hurrah! Another gold star for us. Yeah, nice. That was day 1. So now we can see, so it's pretty cool. It colors it in, which is pretty nice. I know, can I go back to, if I go back to last year, yeah, we can see I got all the way up. I didn't do 2 stars on all of them, and I apparently haven't done day 25 yet. So this was last year. We sort of flew around and did a bunch of stuff. Found a sea monster and went to different islands and stuff. I'm not sure if I've looked at this. Yeah, so you can see the ones from previous years. And you can see how they get progressively harder if you look through them. Right. Yeah, it's still little known. FFI issues. What FFI issues? I thought Nim secret was just Nim script. Oh. LibFFI support. Huh. That's interesting. No, I have not joined the new leaderboard. Let me do that right now. I guess the advent of Nim. I guess the leaderboard is in here. Right. So just go in here, join. You have joined that private leaderboard. Hey. Right. Is this? Yeah, that's owned by anonymous user. Why is it an anonymous user? So yeah, I'm apparently last one, or almost last. The scores here are a bit random. They are oh, you can change ordering. Local score. Ah. Okay. Interesting. Global scores. That's fine. Stars. Oh. So my problem with this is that, yeah, your time zone. That's what it means. Fine for that. Ah, right. Yeah. I mean, I mostly use it to test like the behavior of certain functions without creating a new file. Yeah, so that's the thing. That's the thing I find quite annoying. Like it's time zone based. And I mean, for this one, this I could easily do like before breakfast. But some of the, like if you look through my videos from last year, some of them I spend upwards of like 2 hours solving. some of them I don't even have time to solve on stream because I had other stuff to do that day. So the further you get in, the more I want to do them after work. And especially if I'm gonna stream them, I'm gonna do them after work. So then I'm just sitting there at work all day, like, I knew I could be higher up in the leaderboards if I just did these as fast as possible and not on a live stream. Yeah. But it's fun to be in the leaderboard at least. And as I started with saying, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do all of them this year. I wasn't planning on doing them. But I'm home alone today, so I figured why not do at least this one. And I could also talk a bit about them and FOSDEM and my streams and my YouTube stuff with you guys while I'm streaming. So yeah, as I said, we have a room at FOSDEM. It's kind of not public yet. I don't think, they don't have the news up for it. But if you look in the schedule, you can see that the developer rooms are already here. So we have a dev room. We will post a call for participation. I do plan on submitting a talk. I'm still not 100% sure what that talk is going to be about. I'm thinking either Badger. I haven't really done anything new with it since my last talk. But I still have some time before the conference to do some stuff. I basically wanna take the concept of Badger and like how I built that and expand that to other microcontrollers and other stuff, and sort of build an ecosystem of this kind of stuff for NIM. But that's a lot of work. And I'm currently in the planning stages, trying like spitballing some ideas with people in the NIM embedded room. Hopefully, maybe I can get something up and running pretty soon, and I can share at least the ambition at FOSDEM. But I'm not sure how interesting of a talk that would be. So maybe I won't do that. My alternative is to talk about how I use NIM at work, which, I mean, I've been using NIM at work. Like we have a tool in production, or a solution in production that's used by quite a lot of the big shipping companies in the world, and passes through a couple million connections every day. And it's written in NIM, and I've never really talked about it because I'm not sure how much I'm allowed to talk about it. So I might just ask at work if I can talk about that. And like how I'm using NIM, why I chose NIM, how I got to use NIM. I think it might be interesting. Yeah. No, you definitely should. I mean, we already have our NIMConf. It's just conf.nim, like, yeah. We already did NIMConf, which was a great success. We have a lot of talks, a lot of cool content. I really liked, like the NIM conference was super good, both last year and this year. So if we get the same quality talks for our FOSDEM room, that would be amazing. So that's what we're hoping for. Yeah, as I said, like the reason why I haven't been streaming lately, first off, just personal like life stuff. I just haven't had the time really. Um, and yeah. I kind of want to start streaming again. I'm picking up Badger again, as I said, doing stuff with that. Kind of like streaming, and recording talks and stuff. The problem I have now is that my backlog of unedited Badger videos is like 4 or 5 videos long, and they are like I try to cut them down to like an hour 40. But the recordings, I think one of the recordings is like 6 hours or something. Um, they kind of started dragging on as I got further into the weeds and struggling more and more to get the stuff I wanted to work. Um, so I'm not sure, like, editing them takes quite a long time. It's also super boring because I know everything that I'm talking about. Um, so I kind of want to continue that series, but I also kind of want to have those videos edited, not really for my own sake, but for like people who find the project and maybe want to look how I did it. Um, and that's a like documentation thing. So yeah. Um, but I think I'm gonna cut the stream here today. Oh yeah, cool stove. Yeah. Uh, this has always been sitting in the corner of my room, but I've been sitting over there in this room. I've basically moved my desk like 4 meters from over there to over here. Um, so it's always been there, but you haven't been able to see it. This background is a bit messier than my previous background. I do have a green screen and some better lighting, which I might set up at some point, um, to get this a bit less noisy. But yeah, anyways, that I think will be it for today. Trying to keep these like short and sweet. Um, this last part is just rambling. Um, yeah, thank you very much. Not sure about professional, but try to keep them friendly. So yeah, have a good day. Have a good Christmas, or whatever. Um, I mean, here in Norway, we just say Happy Christmas. Have a good whatever you're celebrating, if you're celebrating anything. Um, and or have a good Advent for now. It's not even Christmas yet. So yeah, have a good one, and hopefully I'll be able to stream again soon, if not tomorrow.